of women in India, the onset of menstruation is fraught with emotional anxiety, social stigma, and a lack of agency. A report sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation shows that till the onset of puberty, girls are often on par with boys. For instance, the percentage of out-of-school boys and girls in the age group of 6 to 10 years was 5.51% and 6.87% respectively. However, for the adolescent age group, that's between 11 to 13, the percentage of out-of-school children was much higher, among girls at 10% than boys at 6.46%. Now, this divergence can be attributed to many factors, including the expectation that girls will do the heavy lifting when it comes to domestic chores, the lack of access to safe transportation or toilets, poor financial conditions, among many others. The report highlights that in India, 71% of girls report having no knowledge of menstruation before their first period. Girls do not have consistent access to quality menstrual health product, with almost 88% of women and girls in India using homemade alternatives like old cloth, rags, hay, sand, or even ash. The COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown has added to the existing challenges. A survey conducted by the Menstrual Health Alliance of India in April of 2020 of 45 organizations, which included NGOs and manufacturers, found that access to sanitary pads was impacted and there was restricted access to shared sanitation facilities. The survey reiterated the need for greater advocacy and awareness and bringing the supply of menstrual hygiene products within the ambit of essential supplies. Network 18, in association with PNG, has launched a campaign to address some of these challenges related to the management of menstrual hygiene, and our hope is that this dialogue will spur policymakers, corporate citizens and civil society to work together. Joining me today to take this conversation forward is Madhusudan Gopalan, the CEO of PNG in India. Madhu, many thanks for joining us here on this Network 18 campaign. Madhu, the statistics tell a rather dismal story. We're in 2021 and yet the data tells us that not much progress has been made when it comes to menstrual health management. Does that surprise you?
Hi Shireen, good to be here with you today. And you're right, the statistics do tell the story. More than 70% of adolescent girls do not know about menstruation when they have their first period. And some of them think they're ill, they see a dip in confidence. Our research tells us that there is a sharp dip in confidence of more than half the girls when they reach puberty. And when these girls look for role models to talk to understand what's going on, in many cases their role models, including their mothers, are unable to or unwilling to have this conversation. And that, among many reasons, is why of the 40 crore menstruating women in India, only 20% use a sanitary pad. And even in urban, the number is not much higher than 50%. So this calls for a national conversation, a very focused intervention cutting across stakeholders. And Whisper is committed to working with multiple partners to be able to move this movement forward, so we reach a stage very soon of 100% menstruating women in India using menstrual hygiene protection.
It's interesting, Madhu, that you point out that there isn't a significant difference between your experience on dealing with this issue in rural India versus urban India. You also talked about the challenge of taking this conversation mainstream. Now, you've been working with many partners over the last 2 decades in trying to promote the idea of menstrual hygiene and menstrual hygiene management. What have been the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome in this journey?
As you said, Whisper has been on this journey of promoting menstrual hygiene management in India for 30 years. And 30 years back, less than 1 crore women in India used sanitary pads. And today the number is over 10 crores, but a lot more needs to be done. There are 3 challenges our research shows. Those are still barriers today for universal adoption of menstrual hygiene management. We can simply summarize them as the 3 A's. The first is around awareness. Awareness is a big problem where adolescent girls, and in many cases their mothers, are not aware of the need for the right solutions for menstrual hygiene management are aware of menstrual hygiene as a natural biological process as well. And this lack of awareness then leads to this not being a priority. The second is acceptance. And as you rightly pointed out, this topic in many cases is still a topic which is taboo. The word menstruation is still associated with the word dirty. The word period is still seen in many cases as a negative. And this acceptance issue then stops and holds back many women from the full potential, from being able to access and get solutions for menstrual hygiene management. The last A is access. Access to quality products for menstrual hygiene management. Any girl, any woman in India of menstruating age should be able to consistently access a quality sanitary pad at arm's length, so to speak. And these are the three challenges that we as a society and all stakeholders need to address.
You know, Madhu, let me pick up on this 3A challenge that you spoke of, and let's address the first two, because awareness will lead to greater acceptance. What have you as a brand been doing in the two areas of trying to build advocacy, create more awareness, and thereby greater acceptance around this issue?
You're absolutely right. Greater awareness will contribute to better acceptance. On awareness, Whisper has been part of this movement of educating girls and mothers in India for over 25 years. We've educated more than 4 crore girls on menstrual hygiene, and our mother-daughter menstrual hygiene awareness program, we're very proud to share today, is going to be reaching another 2.5 crore girls over the next 3 years, and that's a commitment that we're making today. As we continue to drive awareness through the menstrual hygiene awareness program, we're also leveraging technology. That's one of the things that all of us have been adapting during these pandemic times. And we launched a platform called Mobile Shala. The Mobile Shala platform aims at doing 2 things. One is it offers education through remote for underprivileged girls who don't have access to quality remote education. And in addition to science, math, we also offer period education, menstrual hygiene education through this platform. And we've made this platform available through both smartphones and feature phones. So awareness has been a critical focus and will continue to be a critical focus for us, and an area that all stakeholders need to be focused on first. The next, of course, is acceptance. We're proud to be the first brand to use the word period in advertising in India. The first brand to show sanitary pads on television in India. And that went a long way to starting to normalize menstruation, normalize this conversation across society. Acceptance, as you rightly pointed out, also is about busting some of the social taboos.
Yeah.
So several movements that we've kicked off and been part of. Whisper, Breaks the Silence, Touch the Pickle, are all movements that aim on taking head-on some of the social taboos around menstruation and periods. The just launched Keep Girls in School program aims at making this a national conversation on the staggering fact that 1 in 5 girls drop out of school in India when they attain puberty. This needs to be a national priority, and we're very pleased that the Honorable Prime Minister, during his Independence Day speech, called out this as a focus area, talked about sanitary pads, and we're hoping that all stakeholders come together to make this a national movement.
Well, you know, you're right in pointing out that this needs to be a national movement, and very often we don't even imagine the linkage between menstruation, periods, and of course girls not wanting to continue to be in school, dropping out because of the lack of access to toilets, etc. And this is something that often doesn't get enough attention and focus. But Madhu, on the issue of awareness, advocacy, and linking that to education, because you were talking about the mobile Shala experiment that PNG is taking forward, which also includes period education. Now, as part of this campaign, we've been trying to get policymakers to sign the pledge to basically make this part of school curriculum. Do you believe that that will go a long way in mainstreaming this conversation and removing some of the social stigma and the myths attached to the period?
Absolutely. Including period education in curriculum in every single school in India is absolutely critical. Creating awareness about menstruation being a natural biological process, about the need and importance of menstrual hygiene management needs to be part of the basic education and needs to be part of the right for education for every single girl in the country. And our learning in this has been that this education is not just important for girls, but also boys in schools, so that society at large understands the importance and the need for menstrual hygiene management, and breaking that taboo early on at the young age will go a long way in transforming society when it comes to this topic. We're very happy to be tying up as part of this latest leg of Keep Girls in School program, a partnership with UNESCO. And as part of this partnership with UNESCO, we aim, along with multiple stakeholders in society, to be able to make period education part of curriculum in every single school in India.
We'll take a break, but when we return, we continue our conversation with Madhusudan Gopalan, the CEO of PNG India, on our special campaign, Period of Pride.
Ring a chicking ding, ring a chicking ding. किताब खुली खुल गए हैं ख्वाबों के भी विंग. कहानी सुनाई, मस्ती पढ़ाई, स्कूल ने शरारतों की चिड़िया उड़ाई. जादुई दुनिया का हाथ जो छूटा, ख्वाब बनते बनते टक से दे टूटा.
विस्पर ने 4 करोड़ स्कूल गर्ल्स को पीरियड एजुकेशन और पैड्स दिए हैं. यू कैन जॉइन अस. व्हेन यू चूज विस्पर अल्ट्रा, हम पैड्स डोनेट करेंगे टू कीप गर्ल्स इन स्कूल. विस्पर.
Welcome back. You're watching our Network 18 special campaign, Period of Pride, and we're in conversation with Madhusudan Gopalan, the CEO of PNG India. Very often the downside or the health risks associated with poor menstrual hygiene management are not spoken about. It's not given attention. It's not something that people focus on. The fact that you can get urinary tract infections, that you can get even serious disorders linked to poor hygiene when it comes to periods is not something that is often discussed or even part of the mainstream conversation. What can be done to try and draw out this link between better menstrual hygiene management and better health outcomes much more effectively?
I think it all starts with first the key opinion leaders right down to the village level being aware of this. Our society is very capable of transforming very fast when everyone is made aware of what are the key risks associated with health issues. And if we can start making this movement, starting with, of course, policy makers, starting with multiple stakeholders in the non-government space, starting with corporate citizens, but this conversation needs to go down to every single village in India. And if this conversation goes down to that level where people are aware of the importance of menstrual hygiene and the challenges that can come in the life of a girl, a life of a woman, but also equally importantly, the opportunities that every girl and every woman in India can have. Today, there are many girls who drop out of school for the 5 days of the period time in the month. And that is a huge lost potential for girls across the country. And if this is known and made aware at every nook and corner of society, I'm confident we can make a big transformation.
Well, speaking of transformation, Madhu, what should we expect in terms of product innovation, product portfolio, especially when it comes to the aspect of providing better access, deeper access?
I think it first and foremost starts with making sure that quality products are available at affordable price points at the nook and corner of the country. We know from our experience across many product lines that across the spectrum of income of consumers, people look out for quality product. If you're shelling out even those few rupees for an essential product that you want in your household, you want to make sure that it works and it delivers on the promise that it calls out. And hence, making sure that we innovate on increasing the quality of the product, at the same time innovating on affordability. These are the twin areas of focus that we are focused on in Whisper, and we made rapid strides on both these areas. And there is also a lot of innovation we're doing in partnership with our retail partners, with the Kirana stores who are the lifeblood of retail in India, partnerships that make our products available, make the category of sanitary pads available in more and more stores across the country, so that every girl, every woman who needs the product can find it in a store near them. And those go-to-market, route-to-market innovations are also something that we focused on.
Madhu, let me end then by talking to you about your communication strategy, because that is something that you, spoke to me a little bit about earlier on in the conversation when you said that you were the first brand to actually use the word period in your communication strategy, or in fact address some of the taboos like don't touch pickles when you're on your period, etc. What has been the response and the reaction to the way in which you're trying to communicate to your consumer? And as you move forward, what will be the key theme, the key narrative that you hope to drive?
The campaign that we've just been part of, which is Period of Pride, is a campaign where we want to make this menstrual hygiene management conversation a national conversation, a national priority. We would like to encourage every single Indian to take up this cause, go after these 3A challenge of awareness, acceptance and access, and how each one of us in our own small way can make a real difference, a real impact on these 3As. One critical part of the Period of Pride campaign is making period education part of the curriculum of every single school in India. We're very happy to see that this campaign has picked up steam. We have more than 5 lakh people already signing up to be part of this movement of partnering with our policymakers to include period education in every single school curriculum, in every single school in India. We're also thrilled that many leading voices have lent their support to this campaign. The Honorable Health Minister, Shri Harshvardhan ji, Dr. Masood from UNESCO, Dr. Zoya from the Ministry of Health, Ms. Karuna Vaktika from the National Health Mission in Government of Telangana, and of course Bhumi, who's been part of this program as an ambassador. We need more and more such leading voices to be part of this program. So together, when all of us come together, I'm confident we will reach that goal of 100% women adopting safe menstrual hygiene practices very soon.
Well, Madhu, we certainly hope that that is the case, and let's hope that all stakeholders come together to take the AAA framework that you spoke to us about forward. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Thanks very much for joining me here for this conversation and for partnering with Network 18 for the Period of Pride conversation and campaign. For now, from all of us here on the team, goodbye. Many thanks for watching.
चल रे चल चले कांधों पर बस्तों को टांगे, कस के अपनी चोटी बांधे रिब्बन में रंगों के धागे। उड़ी रे तितली देखो उड़ी रे, नन्हे नन्हे पंखों से उम्मीद उड़ी रे। स्कूल में होंगी किताबें, सहेलियों संग बातें, हाँ इमली के चटकारे, कुछ करने के इरादे। स्कूल आजादी का नाम रे। उड़ी रे तितली देखो उड़ी रे, नन्हे नन्हे पंखों से उम्मीद उड़ी रे। ऐसा क्या हुआ, ऐसा क्यों हुआ, खोई रे तितली कहीं खोई रे, सपनों भरी अखियां अंधेरों में रोई रे।
पच्चीस सालों में विस्पर ने 2.5 करोड़ स्कूल गर्ल्स को पीरियड एजुकेशन और फ्री पैड्स दिए हैं। एंड नाउ यू कैन जॉइन अस। व्हेन यू चूज विस्पर अल्ट्रा, हम पैड्स डोनेट करेंगे टू हेल्प कीप गर्ल्स इन स्कूल। विस्पर।